Happy Saturday, and hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far. It's starting to get much warmer in the UK and have been waiting for the longest time. So I thought, let me hop on here just to connect with you because I was just thinking it's easy to get into the habit of tomorrow I'll record, but then tomorrow at times never comes. So this is a standing video. Excuse the craziness of this shirt. We'll just call it a style for now. So I've just finished dancing to Afro beats, and I want to any videos that I'm recording, I want to do them as vlogs while we're in this lockdown or quarantine, wherever you may be in the world and whatever terminology you might be using. And I was just reflecting on the things. Somebody asked me a question actually about, has anything changed for me since I've been in the UK lockdown? And let me know what your experience is so far and if anything has changed for you. So before I hopped on here, I was thinking about my journey so far so that I can let you in a little bit into like the lifestyle that I led before. So I came back to Europe when I was 17 years old. I was born in London, lived in Malawi, then I've shared this actually, then went to Switzerland when I was 17 years old. When I say I've shared this, it's on my timeline somewhere ages ago. But if you're watching for the first time, you might not know this. So I went, at 17 years old, I decided I wanted to study in Europe rather than go to Canada. And that's another story, but that was the best decision I ever made and had the best experiences. Why I'm highlighting this was that it was the first time although I went to like an American university, but it was also the first time I was venturing out on my own. And during that experience of being a university, we also traveled around. And rather than traveling with the university, at times we also traveled like independently around Europe. So I did the whole backpacking experience all over some of the places in Europe, had the most ridiculous adventures, and had solo adventures as well in my 20s and 30s. The first one I remember that I went on a solo trip was actually in the UK. I wanted to go to Jersey Island. Yeah, I was supposed to go to Morocco, but it was September time, and in September time it was Ramadan. People were fasting, and I thought probably this is not the best time to be going there at this time, and also not to go there on a solo trip. So the best thing to do is just go somewhere close enough where there's like English speakers, and then I can test out how I'm going to be how I'm going to cope independently, going to like cafes in a semi-new place, not foreign, semi-new place, going solo to like the theater or cinema, and taking trips around the island. I did all of that. It wasn't as scary as I thought. Then I went to Portugal, I believe when I turned 30, and that was like a cathartic experience where I was overcoming a relationship which yeah, it's another story. So I was overcoming a relationship which had been challenging, and took this book with me, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Do pick it if you've never read it, and it was recommended by one of my closest friends. The best read ever. And on that solo adventure, I did the most outgoing. Clubbing wasn't really my scene, but it was mostly like jumping on jeep rides, going on boat trips, and meeting people from all walks of life. And when I did that, it wasn't just picking random things. It was through the hotel that had organized trips, so at least I ensured like my own safety as well, you know. So I wasn't just like jumping into any ridiculous adventure. There has to be some measure there. So if you've gone on solo trips, let me know what your experience has been like, and how it's changed your outlook. So how this links to modern day is that as a result of those adventures, I always think my past life, no, it is previous, okay? So how it's changed my outlook in life is that this lockdown, it hasn't impacted me significantly because I'm used to doing solo things, solo trips, solo decisions. Even during times when I've been like in relationships, I'm an individual who's like comfortable, I guess, like in my own skin, where I'm not dependent on people as a 24/7 thing, if that makes sense. So you might relate to this. And most of the time I've been spending doing what I already do as a creative entrepreneur. So in 2016, my life changed drastically. And going back to that question when somebody asked, has your life changed somehow during the lockdown? Not significantly, aside from not being able to travel and go to cafes, because what I'm doing now is what I was doing before from like 2016 when I left my full-time job. It's just been very peculiar because like yesterday it was VE Day in Europe. Most of us celebrating the post World War II victory of Europe, and it was eerily quiet. There was no activity going on. Some other places in UK people were doing things, but it's strange in my local town not to see any activity. Not that I didn't go out, but at least to see people moving around. So I think that has been like a major adjustment as well, not having this freedom to roam around as often as you want to, because we've got one day of exercise that might change to two, or who knows how long. But I don't mind it. I'd rather be safe than not safe at all. So we'll be hearing this Sunday whether what our extra freedoms will be. And for me, I just remembered, I think what's drastically changed for me now as a result of having coronavirus type symptoms is that I am more cautious. Yes, that is it. We changed somehow. I am more cautious about sanitization. I've always been, but it's extra on top. And as a result of experiencing being sick and being very ill, I haven't been very encouraged to go out to shops and to buy necessities. I've had to be creative online more than before to find things. And I don't know when will be an exact time when I'll feel like, yes, I'll go out there and start going into shops. Local cafes, that's going to be ages away yet before I'll ever do that. But I think my first step will be the necessities. I'll pluck up the courage to do that. I'm being mindful now because it's been 7 weeks. 7, because I'm holding, I can't use both of my hands at the moment. So it's been 7 weeks, and I feel like my body, my mind needs to rest from all the exhaustion that I went through the illness. And I also need to just mentally adjust before exposing myself to potentially becoming sick again, because we don't know how people are impacted or affected. I just know based on my experience that it happened twice. It never went away or came back again. Who knows? But at the same time, I'm being mindful because of having a compromised immune system. So that I believe, okay, so that has been the significant change, is because when you run out of things, what you automatically do is you want to go out to like the local shops and buy something. Mentally, I've had to adjust to that. It's not been that difficult to do because I know what the potential risk as well. But it's still something that niggles in my mind about that freedom being taken away, and not having that ability to flexibly go out without having to be extra cautious. So yes, my cleaning habits have changed. Being overly cautious, wearing masks, scarves, gloves, being mindful of people, and I joke that I'm allergic to people now. And yes, so we'll see. Let me know what your experience has been so far. We'll see what happens, what the future will be like. Let me know, especially if you're like a digital nomad or a traveler, whether when the restrictions are lifted, you will be ready and steady to pack up and go on your next venture without actually giving it a second thought. For me, I think it's going to be a huge and significant step to take, to share the plane with like numerous people, standing in queues, standing in lines. I don't know yet. We'll just have to wait and see what the future brings. And I think now I know what will make it safer for me mentally will be vaccinations, although they're not 100% guarantee. Masks, not 100% guarantee. Cleaning off seats and everything before I travel. But that is a long way to come yet. So I'll leave it here for now, and then we'll vlog again about something random and anything rather. And I'll leave you with okay, how I started off this morning, Afro beats. I was dancing, tapping into something positive. I hope you're doing the same for yourself as well, in order to keep your mental ability well, and also physically to keep that momentum of a positive outlook. Although there's significant things happening, it's not to say you ignore them, but it's about being mindful of your well-being and tapping into things that make you laugh, things that make you feel silly, and things that bring you joy, to balance off what is going on here currently that is on the extreme level. Ciao for me for now. I am going to be posting on TikTok some of the Afrobeat dance that I've done so far. Look out for it. I'll leave a link below, and then remember to hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to connecting with you next time. Always the longest goodbye.